Hey everyone, hope you all are well. I'm starting off today by priming the eye area with my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm adding a few swipes of this across the eye area, and then I'm taking this Wet n Wild Pro Bunny Tapered Blending Brush and I'm buffing the primer into the skin, and this will ensure that the shadows that I apply next do so nice and smoothly, ensure they blend nice and easily, and last all day long as well. I'm starting out by taking one of the Colourpop Animal Crossing collection palettes. This is the Nook Ink one. I have a few palettes from the collection, all of which I've uploaded tutorials on, so if you haven't copped those, you can definitely search my channel. The first shadow I'm taking is called Made in the Shade, and I'm picking this up on a Blank Canvas Cosmetics E26 blending brush, and I'm applying this into the crease of the eye. Now, this is a light to medium minty green. It's a semi-matte shadow. It does have these little silvery sparkly flecks, but they aren't really apparent in the overall look. It's nearly like a matte shadow that's infused with a bit of sparkle. It's a shade that blends really easily, as you can see. I'm having no issues buffing this out and up towards the brow bone and out towards the tail of the brow. No issues with fallout. Colourpop shadows are really top tier and they don't break the bank. So with the first application, I got a nice light wash of colour, but I want it to be more apparent. I'd like it to pack more of a punch. So I'm adding another layer now to boost up the intensity. So I'm reapplying it in the crease, just using a mix of windshield and circular motions to buff the colour out. And once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm moving down onto the lower lash line. So I'm taking up a double-ended brush that came with the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. It's a small flat smudger brush, and I'm using this to apply that same shade down along the lower lash line, all the way down along there, and making sure then to connect it up on that outer edge. I want no gaps. So to deepen up the look now, I'm taking the shade Water Landing. I've picked that up on the same fluffy blending brush, and I'm beginning by tapping this down on the outer third of the lid, and then I'm going to gradually move it up and across into the crease. Now with this shade, it's not one that you can apply just one layer of and you're good to go. It's definitely a shade that's buildable. It does need to be layered up to get it to its true finish, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind that at all, especially with the darker shadows. At times, less is more. It's much easier to add on and build up the intensity of a shade than it is to take it away if you've applied too much. So I've just started by patting this down on the outer third of the lid, and as you can see now, I'm making my way up and across the crease. And the benefit of applying that light minty green shade first is that this one then, it actually fades out when it's blended to that kind of colour anyway, so you don't need to put in a lot of work blending into the crease. You just need to lightly fade it up there, and the transition shade in the crease already does the rest of the work. I'm now taking the Sedona Lace EB09 Universal Blending Brush. I'm using this with no product on it, and I'm solely using this to run between those two shades just to be extra sure that they fade seamlessly into one another. It's not an essential step, just me being extra cautious. So I'm moving back now to that double-ended Urban Decay brush once again, and I'm adding that darker teal shade now down along the lower lash line. I'm wriggling this down on the outer third of the eye, pushing it right into that lash bed, and by wriggling my brush like this, it's going to apply and blend the shadow at the same time. So I'm palette hopping now over to the Sample Beauty, the Plush palette. It's a great palette with a wide variety of shades and different finishes, and it's another one that's nice and affordable. Today though, I'm just picking up the shade Antique from the palette, which is kind of like a shimmery, greeny gold. It's really beautiful. I've picked it up on a Blank Canvas Cosmetics E24 flat shader brush. I've spritzed my brush now with some water just to intensify those shimmery particles, and I'm tapping this down kind of in the centre of the lid, just patting over and back until I'm happy with the finish. Then I'm going back to my Nook Ink palette, and I'm taking the shade CEO on a Sigma E30 pencil brush. Now this is a glitter. It's got a nice kind of base of a greeny blue, and it has these beautiful silvery white flecks of glitter. Now you can use this as a topper or on its own like I am doing now. You can use it in conjunction with a glitter glue. I've just once again spritzed my brush with some water. And I'm applying that just to the inner portion of the lid. I've coated the tear duct slightly too, and again, I've got no issues with fallout. So I'm topping up that antique shade now on the lid once again, sweeping it towards the CEO glitter, tapping over and back, just making sure that there isn't a harsh divide between each of the shades on the lid. So I'm taking this matte black shadow now from Makeup Geek called Corrupt. I've picked this up on another little flat C-shaped brush from Sedona Lace, and I'm starting by wriggling this into the lash line and just above it onto the lid on that outer edge of the eye, and then I'm very lightly smoking the remainder upwards towards the crease. Again, just so that I don't have a harsh blob of black on that outer corner of my eye. I like to apply and blend with this brush. I just like to pat the shadow down, and then I like to pull and sweep the shade in the direction that I want. I want to blow out the edges slightly and just make it really smoky. So I use a small amount and then I just fiddle around until I'm happy with how it looks. So I'm now taking this angled brush from Vanity Planet. Unfortunately, I think it's discontinued. I just love it so much because it's curved, so it's like it hugs the lash line. It just makes applying shadow really easy to do. So I'm adding the black now on the outer third of the lower lash line, and then I'm applying it from outer to inner corner along the upper lash line. I'm going back in with the smudger end of the Urban Decay brush with no product on it, and I'm smoking along the edge of that black to fade it softly in with those two previous shades. For the waterline then, I'm taking the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade High Vibes. It's a gorgeous green with golden flecks running throughout the pencil, and I'm just closing my eye around the pencil to coat both the top and bottom waterline at the same time. So I've added some of the Kiss Pompadour lashes again. Absolute shock. I just can't get enough of this set lately. They finish off the look nicely without being too dramatic and overpowering. And now I'm using the L'Oreal Bambi False Lash Mascara to blend my own lashes in with the false ones and to coat the bottom lashes. And then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it helpful. If you did, please do let me know, and I'll catch you all soon.